Hey, what's up, everybody? It is the Game Plan, and the Patriots are back in prime time. After being flexed off Monday Night Football last week, they are back prepping to work for their Christmas Eve game at Denver on Christmas Eve. Be more redundant, you can't. Hello there. It is the Game Plan, brought to you by your local New England Honda dealers. I'm Tom Curran. Phil Perry is standing by from Gillette. Plus, we have the Athletics' Mike Sando on the matchup between two GOAT coaches, Sean Payton with Denver and Bill Belichick with the Patriots. Why has neither been, well, quite the same since losing their legendary quarterbacks, other than they were legendary quarterbacks? And we'll also get Sando's insight on the market for Bill Belichick. Meanwhile, though, at Foxborough today, Bailey Zappi and the Patriots hit the practice field after Sunday's loss to the Chiefs. Last Christmas Eve, booze and "We Want Zappi" chants rained down on a rather empty Gillette Stadium. This Christmas Eve, Zappi will be at Mile High. Here's what he had to say about spending the holiday eve in Denver.
I mean, you're playing a primetime game, so everybody's excited for it. We're playing for ourselves right now. We're just trying to go out there and compete as a team, play as a team, and try to come back, on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, with a win.
Well, this marks the second season the Patriots find themselves playing Christmas Eve. The spirit around the Patriots team is a little bit different now, huh? Mac Jones-led New England team entered last year's game against the Bengals at 7-7. Just one game outside of the final AFC playoff spot. The Bengals prevailed after building a 22-0 lead, and the Patriots rallying a bit. The Patriots went to their fourth loss in 5 games on that one. Bengals were putting their Christmas toys together mentally in the second half of that one. Phil Perry joining us now from Gillette Stadium. What's the tenor down there around the team as they get ready for this game with a 3-11 record?
Yeah, there's a little bit of Christmas magic in the air down here. Tom Bailey Zappi at the podium today talking about getting presents for his offensive linemen. Hopefully they'll be able to protect him against a blitz-happy Vance Joseph defense out there in Denver. David Andrews getting the Ron Hobson Good Guy Award today. So there's a bit of gift giving here in Foxborough. That spirit has sort of carried through the early part of the week here. But it's been a tough season, Tom. We all know that. I think this team understands where they are, who they are, but they are still playing for themselves, as players will tell you. And they're playing for their next jobs. I think that's why you're seeing this team continue in some pockets to perform, especially on the defensive side, right? Those guys, a lot of them aren't sure where they will be next year. So there is something for them to play for, even though obviously they are out of postseason contention at this point.
So foreign, so unusual is the tenor around this team relative to what we've experienced for 20-plus years. Meanwhile, with the Broncos, the Patriots and Broncos actually got off to the same start this season, but they have wound up worlds apart. Here's a look at how each has fared. This is presented by Shaw's Perfecting the Art of Fresh. Both teams were 1-5 through 6 weeks. The Broncos, however, got themselves back into playoff contention after that, gone 6-2 since. It's interesting, Phil, when you look at these two teams, I mean, Denver gave up 70 to the Miami Dolphins and was able to bounce back as Sean Payton's culture took root. But the Patriots, when they nosedived 38-3 and then 34-0, there was no bounce back at all. Why do you think that is?
I think buy-in is a part of it, right? You have to, if you're Denver, be bought into your new coach's message. You have to be bought into the fact that you are building towards something. Without that, you're really not able to build any sort of positive momentum. And they've been able to do it really on both sides of the ball, Tom. Show some significant improvement since that bludgeoning against the Dolphins. Defensively, I look at first and foremost, they actually traded away one of their best pass rushers in Randy Gregory, but their pass rush got better. They become more blitz happy without that top-tier talent on the edge, and I think that's given offenses some problems. They clearly have some talent in the secondary as well between Patrick Surtain, one of the best young corners in football, and Justin Simmons, very talented safety. Offensively, meanwhile, I give Sean Payton a ton of credit for allowing, maybe not allowing, but coaxing is the right word, Russell Wilson to change his game. He has the lowest average depth of target of his entire career this year, Tom. He has the highest adjusted completion percentage of his entire career this year, so he's not as explosive as he has been. But, Tom, he's trending towards a 30-ish touchdown, 10-ish interception kind of season. He's taking care of the football, and I give Payton a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, they already had a pretty good defense. We saw that over the last couple of years, but offensively, they were a disaster. To get that kind of performance in an offense driven league is absolutely vital. You mentioned buy-in too, Phil, and I think that you look at these two coaches, you're like, why would there be a difficulty having buy-in with either one? And I think with the Patriots, they entered the season in such a tenuous position with not knowing what was going to happen offensively, and once it kind of cratered offensively, the buy-in was harder to come by. Certainly not on defense, but I think offensively, and I think that's where there became a deflated feeling around this team.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And if you look in Denver, at least they've had a plan. Even if Sean Payton, and I'm not sure, Tom, he believes fully in Russell Wilson. He has forced him to adjust his game, and they've gotten some pretty good results. But I'm not sure Russell Wilson is definitely coming back next year as the Broncos quarterback. They might be willing to take a massive dead cap charge for that guy because he's not really Sean Payton's guy, and he's not really Sean Payton's style of quarterback, even though he's changed a bit this year. I think having a plan at the very least out in Denver at that position has really helped them identify what their path is moving forward. Whereas the Patriots, it felt like the quarterback position was such a roller coaster and was so in flux even early in the season. Even if you knew Mac Jones was the established number one coming in, that makes it hard for everybody to really believe in how they're going about their season.
Hey, Phil, looking at the Patriots offense, obviously, you got to find a way to get to 17 or 20 points, bottom line, with your offense. And with the offensive line in a little bit of a state of flux, having lost Cole Strange, we'll see if Trent Brown is back fully. He was out of practice. But you're going to be playing at altitude. You're going to be playing on Christmas Eve on the road. How do you think this Patriots offensive line will perform in giving Zappe the time to put together a complete game?
I'm not expecting it to be great, in all honesty, Tom. I mean, they just haven't consistently been able to protect any quarterback back there. And you look at the second half of last week's game, and the pressure percentage for Zappe is up over 50%. I mean, it's not tenable. It's been a problem all year. It's been a problem since training camp. I'm not expecting it to get fixed. Now, maybe they catch a break in that Nick Bonito's an outside linebacker for the Broncos, isn't able to play. He's dealing with injury right now. He's missing time in practice. But they're going to have to hope that the Broncos suddenly get bad in terms of their third down defense, where they are second in the league right now, and they suddenly stop turning the ball over. They are ranked, I believe it's third. They're tied for third right now when it comes to turnovers generated this season. So if you can take care of the football and find some success on third down, maybe you can stay balanced and keep that pass rush at bay.
Yeah, and as you pointed out just a little while ago, the Patriots, despite the fact they've been getting a few lately, still 29th in the league in generating turnovers. Phil, I want to ask you about a new face around Gillette Stadium, quarterback Nathan Rourke. Bill Belichick was asked earlier today what the backup has done during his career in Canada and around the NFL to catch Bill's eye.
Yeah, well, just the depth at that position. So, when you only have two quarterbacks on the roster, guy sprains his ankle, I mean, you're down to, putting a receiver or a running back or somebody at quarterback. So, but it's productive. Preseason, Canada.
Yeah, break out the sheet cake, Bill. He was not really over the moon. Is this guy a Band-Aid, or would he possibly have a role with this team going forward? It reminds me of not Gail Gilbert, but his kid who was here, Garrett Gilbert, last year. Just, you have a safety net somewhere.
Say this for Bill Belichick, regardless of what you think of his press conferences, he is not going to inflate anybody that comes into this building that isn't worthy of inflation. That was reminiscent of some of the answers you'll get from Bill. You ask him, why were you interested in signing, free agent X? He was available. That was essentially the answer we got there from Bill Belichick. That's what Rourke will be. He'll be a practice squad guy. He'll be a look squad guy out on the practice field. And yes, if there's an emergency in terms of injury, maybe you'll see him. But he's not going to make an impact. Think of Will Grier, Tom. He was here for months, and he couldn't get on the field. We're not going to see Nathan Rourke, is my guess, in 2023.
Poor Trace McSorley. Meanwhile, rookie kicker Chad Ryland, he's kind of got himself on the naughty list, Phil. Entering Week 16 after missing from 41 yards out against the Chiefs. It's not been great through the first 16 weeks. Cam McCord and Bill Belichick both were asked about what they're seeing from the rookie fourth rounder. Here's what they had to say.
He's done well enough, in practice that gives us the confidence that he's going to go out there and make the kicks, and just knowing where he can kick them from and the distance and the leg. So, that's the thing. You just got to take it from the practice field now to the game.
What are your thoughts on where things are with Chad?
Yeah, I agree with Chad. Cam.
Well, I mean, he's got a block apparently when the lights go on. What do you think his future is? And are the Patriots going to coach differently, knowing that they have a kicker who's a little fragile right now?
Yeah, he's a problem right now. You have invested a 4th-round pick in him, though, Tom, so I don't think he would be going anywhere anytime soon. My guess is he'll be back with the team to start next season, but you have to bring in some competition for him. The bigger issue for me is it's investing a 4th-round pick in a specialist in that manner when there are plenty of kickers and other specialist positions that you can find in the 6th, 7th undrafted realm on draft weekend. So that, to me, is the issue. It's the investment made in a player who ends up not being able to follow through.
Yeah, it's almost like Nick Folk wouldn't have been bad to bring back since he was practically the MVP for the last 3 years. All right, Phil, great stuff. See you on Early Edition.